first time I've stood out here really properly freezing. It's that time of year. You've got a reasonable distance away game in midweek. You'll want to bounce back. You talked about changes at the weekend. You might not have the personnel to make, changes of personnel. Are there other things you can change? Can you change the routine? Can you change the schedule? Can you change the things that are being said to the players just to try and bring about that change out there on the pitch?
Well, you're always trying to. You're always trying to think of fresh ideas, things that motivate people. Someone said to me on Saturday, who motivates the motivator? I've never had any problem with that. Never had any problem getting myself up for football. It's coming to work. It's a job I love doing, so that will never wane. My enthusiasm will never wane. And we'll be bright and bubbly today, and we'll try and find a way through this, because the defending at the moment is catastrophic. I suppose you could say we're going in the right direction, 5-4-3 in consecutive Saturdays, but there's a saying that when you're going through hell, you've got to keep going. And we are going through hell at the moment defensively, and we have got to get out of it, and we only get out of it by hard work. And it's no point feeling sorry for yourselves and being dejected and negative. You've got to be positive, and we've got to look at how we played at the start of the season, how we kept clean sheets at the start of the season, how we played on the front foot. And I know we've been decimated with injuries, but lots of teams do as well. We just haven't reacted well to it, and we've got to stop feeling sorry for ourselves as a team, and we've got to start doing the right things in the right areas. And the first thing we've got to do is be protective of our goal. And the goals and the chances that we give up on Saturday were farcical. And you look back at the first goal and it is a foul on the keeper. And, sometimes they get given, sometimes they don't. And it's unfortunate, but we've still got to be stronger defending the ball in, the first contact. And then the next two, and the chances that we give up. You wouldn't see it on a Sunday morning. That's no disrespect to Sunday League footballers, but you wouldn't see some of the things that we do. And I know it was a big occasion, big crowd on, but we've got to rise to that occasion. And generally we do. And I think throughout my tenure here, I think we've often had bad Octobers or bad Novembers, bad Decembers. And you can't put your finger on it, but it happens. We've just got to battle through it. I know we've got good players in there. You saw them on Saturday. You can't fault their effort. They ran themselves into the ground. But we've got to handle the ball better, which means if you handle the ball better, you don't have to defend as much. And one of the big problems we've got at the moment is we are starting attacks for the opposition by a misplaced pass or a poor control, and that's got to stop. And then when teams present us with the opportunity, we don't take it quick enough. So if you think about on Saturday, the first mistake in the game was made by their centre-half when he passed the ball straight to Seamus, but we didn't counter quick enough. Okay, we ended up getting a shot off. Seamus got fouled, we ended up getting a shot off. But that could have been done quicker, and we could have got into a better goal-scoring opportunity. And that's something that we've got to think about as well as defending. The best way to defend is to attack, in my opinion, and make the other team worry about you rather than the other way around. And we're not getting them balances right both ends, and we might have to change one, the shape, or two, the personnel.
You've always been a big exponent of you want players to enjoy coming to work. You want them to have that environment where it's a positive environment. How do you maintain that while going through the video of the goals they've conceded, for example, which might make them feel negative?
Well, you don't want to be critical. You've got to point out the glaring obvious things, the obvious mistakes that we're making. But it's an educational video. It's not deemed to dig anybody out or have a go at people. These are good players. When in their own right, they're really good defenders, but they're not producing as a cohesive unit at the moment, and that's something that we've been searching for the last 3 or 4 weeks, to be fair, and we're not getting it right at the moment, and we've got to carry on working on it. That's what we get paid to do. We train them, we coach them. People will have their own opinions. I heard a lot of the crowd muttering on Saturday, why are you playing one up front? Well, we weren't playing one up front, we were playing two up front. But some people can't see that because they see the names on the shirt and they think, oh, he's a midfield, he's not playing up front. We've had to play Harry Pell up front to try and give us a presence in the absence of Coley. And, you know, by his own admission, he's not a centre forward, but he's done his best. And, you know, we were in a game Saturday at 3-2 and we had the chance where the keeper's made an unbelievable save from Harry's free kick, but we didn't really put them under enough pressure. I don't think we didn't make them nervous enough. We didn't ask too many questions to them, and that's something that we've got to address. You know, when we get a head of steam up, we've got to keep an head of steam up. And that'll go down to hard work on the training ground and trying to get things right.
I appreciate he's not the same kind of player, but supporters will also be asking the Dion Charles question. Is there any change in that? Is there any leeway in it? Could you see him returning before the kind of January window?
The ball's in Dion's court. It's been in Dion's court since the summer. So if it doesn't change from Dion's perspective, it's not going to change from my perspective. And that's not being cheerish, but you know, you've got to draw the line in the sand. And Dion openly stated to me in the summer that if he didn't go in the transfer window, he'd sign a new contract, and now he's reneged on it. So he's left me nowhere to go. I've got nothing against Dion. I like Dion as a lad. He's been misguided with the advice he's been given earlier on, and he's continued to follow that. And it's become a bit of a Mexican standoff, which doesn't suit anybody. No one wins out of it. But you know, Dion had gone through a little bit of a sticky spell anyway. After he got called up to the Ireland squad, I think he scored 2 penalties and that was it. You know, in the league. So Dion's a good player, and I'd be lying if I said we didn't miss him, because you know he was a regular starter for us last year. But you know, if you get players who've been taken out of non-league, given an opportunity, and then don't want to give the club opportunity to one, sell them, or two, to progress their careers even further. And he's, you know, it's not just our club, you know, the club that he's been bought from, you know, non-league clubs, they sell players into the league hoping that they go again. So a bit unfair on them, but listen, you know, Dion has got his own mind, and whatever he wants to do, you know, my door's always open. He can come back into the fold at his off the heart, but he'll have to sign a new contract.
We're only 5-6 weeks away from the window. If he doesn't sign a contract, will he be leaving?
Well, if someone comes in with the right bid for him, of course he'll go. But it's got to be right for him as well. You know, he doesn't have to just go to the first club that comes for him. He's got to do what's right for him and his family, and I appreciate that, and I see that from both aspects. But one of the things about being a manager is you have to. Well, I've built my managerial career on empathy, so you have to see things from both perspectives. And sometimes players don't see it from both perspectives; they just only see it from their own perspective. And Dion won't be the first player who's gone down that road. I've only ever tried to be fair with players, and I only ever will try to be fair with players.
Burton next. There was lots of talk about how well they'd started the season, and the kind of results in the league table backed it up. And now, a bit like yourselves, they're on a bit of a run in the league without winning a game. Does that show how quickly that can change in this league? Yeah, it does. 2 teams sliding down a slippery slope.
You know, we both know that both teams are capable of producing on any given day and beating any team in this league. And I've got a lot of respect for Jimmy. You know, I think he does a good job. He's done a really good job there second time around as well. But he's done a good job there in the past. And he gets his players playing. And he'll know that we can get our players playing. Both teams are going through a bit of a, I want to use the word hiatus, it doesn't really go. No, we're going through a sticky spell at the moment, and I don't think either of them will be for the wanted sign of trying to get out of it. So, you know, it should be a tough encounter, and I'm sure they're expecting a tough encounter from us, and we're the same.
Is it an opportunity when you play a team who haven't had a result for a while, or is it in the back of your mind that you don't want to be the team that gets them going?
Let's only give people legs up, but we've given plenty of people legs up this year. Listen, you can't second guess things. You know, it's a game of football, 11v11. And you can't say, well, this has happened or that's happened, and it's, you know, it's bad luck or it's good luck or it's, you know, superstition. And two teams both going out to try and get a win, trying to arrest a slump. You know, the ones who handle the ball better, the ones who defend better, will be the ones who get out of it.
If you're pondering changing things in order to change the outcome, does your preparation for Burton include the fact that they might also change things?
There's every chance that they've got. I think they've got probably a bigger squad than us and a stronger squad than us. And I don't think they've got as many injuries. But that's part and parcel of the game. You know, you have to be prepared for whatever the opposition throws at. And
you mentioned Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank there, going back to a club where he previously had success. You've done exactly the same thing yourself. How tough a decision is that to do, and how many pitfalls are involved of perhaps not living up to the first time round?
Well, you always run that risk, but you've got to have faith in yourself and your own ability, and I think Jimmy's got that. And, you know, myself and Jimmy, we certainly had that. We knew we could do a job here, and we know that we get what it takes for this club. And there's probably not many managers who are attuned to what is required for Accrington Stanley. You know, from everything, from the connection with the fans to, you know, the connection with the owner, to understanding the club's position, where we are geographically, where we are financially, and the pitfalls of trying to push yourself too far and collapsing the club, which other clubs have done in the past. And, you know, I think myself and the chairman are on the same page with that. And, you know, I'd like to think that while we're both here, that won't happen.